Imagine being a young girl constantly told you smelled different, leading you to mask your identity from a young age of 10. Can you imagine? Today we delve into the transformative journey of Divya Gugnani, who turned personal challenges into groundbreaking innovations in the beauty industry. We'll explore Divya's experience growing up as a first-generation immigrant parents from India, her battles with insecurities, and how an autoimmune disease led her to revolutionize the fragrance world. Before we dive into Divya's incredible journey, I want to invite you for a moment of stillness, connection, and peace. Because so oftentimes we're hearing these big, inspiring stories and we forget to have a moment of calm so we can really take on this journey together. So this next part is just for you. We're going to do a somatic peace reset, and today we're going to meet the little version of you. The version of you before the world told you to be smaller, before the comments, before the shame, before the masks, before the distrust of yourself. We're going to tap into her and allow that joy to come easily with your true essence, untamed and real. Okay, so I know you all are listening as you're multitasking and you're driving and you're doing all these things, but I want you to just take a moment. And if you're not driving, or if you if you're sitting down, you can close your eyes. If you're not, don't worry about it, okay? But let's all do this together. I want you to take a deep breath. We can all do this together. Take a deep breath, inhaling, and a long, slow exhale out. Let's do this again. Inhale, and a long, slow exhale. I want you to take your fingers together and rub your fingers on one hand together gently, feeling the ridges of your fingerprints. When you are able to relax your hands, I want you to imagine the little version of you, your younger self, the younger self that was filled with joy, happiness, and essence. When I picture this, I picture my younger self, around 5. She's wearing a Superman costume. I want you to picture the little version of yourself. Is she inside or outside? What are her surroundings? What is she doing? Playing, creating? I want you to notice her face, her energy, her spark. As you walk closer to her, I want you to feel that energy, spark, and essence. And I want you to embrace her, feeling that deep connection to who you truly are. As you embrace, I want you to hear a message from her. What is she telling you? And when you're ready, you can step back, you can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and come back to this space. That little version of you is always there. She's inside of you, ready to remind you of who you truly are. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this episode with Divya, is share her story with her little girl, full of joy, full of life, who would later be told she was different. But she didn't let this story define her. She went on to redefine beauty herself. And as we dive into her story and her beautiful human design chart, you guys, I audibly gasped when I opened up her human design chart that she sent to me. It is so special, and you're not going to want to miss it. Joining us today is Divya Gugnani, a serial entrepreneur, investor, board member, and startup advisor with over 25 years of experience. She has founded 5 companies, successfully exiting 3 of them. Divya holds a BS from Cornell and an MBA from Harvard. She began her career in investment banking in Goldman Sachs and later transitioned to institutional investing at Investment Corp International and First Mark Capital. Notably, she co-founded Wander Beauty to create effortless beauty essentials for women on the go. Her latest venture, 5 Senses, is redefining the fragrance industry with clean, mood-centering scents now available at Sephora. All right, let's jump into this episode. Divya, thank you so much for being on the show today. I am so excited to dive into your human design chart and to dive into your purpose that you're bringing into this world.
Purpose I'm bringing into the world. It's a tough question, but I would say that what I'm bringing for myself, my purpose is to learn. I have a saying that I'm like, be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. I'm constantly learning. I'm a very intellectually curious person, and I'm constantly learning and growing, just like I'm learning from you with doing my human design chart for the first time. And then I would say my purpose is dual-fold. It's for myself to learn and for my community to grow with them and to basically teach them everything that I know.
Oh, I love that. Now, growing up, can you share some of the challenges you faced in terms of identity and belonging?
Yes, I definitely had a rough time. My parents are from India. Both of them were born, raised, and educated there. My father came here for his master's degree, so pretty late in life, and married my mother. They had an arranged marriage, and my mom came to America for the very first time after being married. So culture shock for her, still wearing her traditional Indian clothes, traditional Indian bindi. Like she did not make it easy for me. This woman did not want me to assimilate. Like she was not giving me an American name. She was not wearing American clothes to make it easier for me at school. She was like full on what we call straight fresh off the boat, FOB. And it's like fresh off the boat. Like my mom was a fresh off the boat immigrant. And so for me, that became very challenging to assimilate at school and to mix in with the other kids. I grew up in a very homogenous town. And I think the first thing that I was teased about more than anything was
Yes.
my sense of smell. And that really, I turned that into an opportunity and to a passion, into a vision, into a brand. But really, I channeled that energy positively. Essentially, when I was a child, kids would be like, "Oh, you're Indian, you smell." Then they're like, "No, no, you don't smell, your clothes smell because they cook curry in your house." And that is just something so powerful that can have such a profound effect on a young woman when she's already going through so many body changes and hormonal changes. And, girls are mean, and then layer this on top of it, and it's not pleasant. And so I turned to perfume at age 10. My father used to travel a lot for work, and he used to travel through London, Heathrow Airport, and Charles de Gaulle. And he was constantly buying duty-free perfumes for my mom while he was traveling. And so he bought me all the duty-free minis. And then I started wearing perfume at age 10 because it became a form of my identity. It became a form of self-expression. It became a form of like how to punctuate my mood in every moment. And just like we change our like glasses, I wear a lot of different types of glasses and accessories and earrings and clothes and makeup every day. Like, why not change your fragrance? And so I really channeled that into my new brand, 5 Cents, which is all about your mood bottled.
That is amazing. And then, so these experiences, that's like as a young child, as any woman at any age, being told that you like smell differently or you look differently, whether we tell that to ourselves or we hear that from the outside world, how did that like change like the value of your perception of yourself? Like,
It can be debilitating as a child
yeah.
because being different is somehow wrong. Like people didn't celebrate diversity when I was growing up. Now it's like my daughter goes to school and people are like, "Oh, you're from a different country. Can you bring in food to school?" Like it's ethnicity, culture, diversity is somewhat celebrated in our community today. And I'm so happy that we've reached that place that my children can have a safe space to be in at school. I did not experience that when I was growing up. I felt like not only were children so insular, but their parents were so insular and they were kind of imbibing these insular views upon their children, which then, perpetuates and becomes difficult.
Yes.
Really what you
And
hear at home. It's like, the teacher sends your kid a note and says, "Oh, your kid was cursing in class." Like, where did they learn that from? They learned that at home. So it's like, we got to take responsibility for our role as parents and how we influence children. So I think that it's a different time and place how kids are growing up today. Thank God things have changed.
yes, and it is a different time and place, and I do think there's still those whether it's external or internal things and rhythms and voices that are telling us you should be different, you should be more like this, and especially in this female founder space as we're looking at the Instagrammable moments. A lot of my clients are like, I don't know, I just not like her or this and that, and that's where I love this human design piece that comes in. It teaches us that the way we were born, the way we are, the who we are is perfect just in and of itself. Now you were telling me that you were diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that caused these like reactions to your perfumes. And can you tell me about like how that health journey influenced your next stages in the beauty industry?
100%. So it's really interesting. I have always loved beauty. So when
Mm.
I went to college and I was in a sorority and we used to have formals, I used to do my own makeup and I used to do makeup for my friends because I was obsessed with like the transformation, the empowerment, the confidence that I got from wearing just a little bit of makeup, especially because my mom didn't let me wear it growing up. I think you just like, it was like, my mom never let me have Coke growing up. And I went to college and was like, I'm having a regular Coke. Like they have Coke at the dining hall. I'm having regular Coke. So it's like, what do I do? I start wearing makeup. My mom is like, no makeup, no makeup, no makeup. And then go to college, start wearing makeup. So I
Yes.
love to experiment with makeup in college. And I never really thought twice. I would buy what was trending. I bought what was good for me. I bought what I liked, what worked for my skin tones. I went to every makeup counter in the department store because that's how you used to buy makeup back in the day before they had Sephora. And what happened was I reached a point in my life where I wanted to have children and I was having difficulty conceiving. And when I went to go see the doctor, like I just had so many issues. Like during that period, my eyes were sealing shut every morning. I had swelling in my eyes. I was having rashes constantly. So essentially what was happening is that I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune condition where your body attacks your thyroid. I had a thyroid disorder, which was preventing me from being able to conceive naturally. And once I actually got diagnosed with this disorder and all the ancillary conditions and skin conditions and allergies that I had with it, I had to see multiple dermatologists and doctors. And they basically told me, like, go to ground zero. You don't know what's irritating you. You've had this allergy test and you're allergic to everything. I was allergic to all the basic chemicals that are in daily personal care and makeup and household products. And so I had to go to ground zero. I had to eliminate everything. Started cleaning my house with vinegar and baking soda. Started washing my hair with totally organic, natural things. Like I just could everything. If I put something on my hair and I'd sleep at night, I'd have a rash on my face. I couldn't wear mascara for years because anytime I put any mascara on, my eyes would seal shut with the irritation. So I had to give up my entire fragrance collection, just like cold turkey, gone. No more fragrance, no more perfume, skin rashes. And then I tried all of the clean and hypoallergenic alternatives on the market. And I found that I couldn't find a brand that really spoke to me. So first of all of the packaging seemed completely homogenous. They're all in that clear glass bottle. They're all have that millennial typeface. And it was just all the same. And I didn't find that they had the storytelling, the sillage, the projection, the longevity that I love from my designer fragrances. So I really just turned that into a turning point of, this is a white space. I'm an entrepreneur. Let me figure this thing out.
Yeah. And the figure it out part of it is the beautiful, like almost way that we get to build the life that we love, right? Instead of taking it to a like, oh my goodness, I don't think I'm just going to ditch fragrances and my identity and what I love, versus figuring it out and going to the source of like, how can I make this better? There's a gap in the market for a reason, and converting that,
Entrepreneurs see things others don't see and they do things others don't do. And it's so important for us to just like see the white space and take action. We're the ones who are going to do it. So let's do it.
Yes, totally. Well, and it's, I completely understand. I have an autoimmune disease that I was diagnosed with 3 years ago. I have MS. And it has completely changed how I view life, how I view my business, and how I view everything. It's through this lens of like recognizing how much celebration that I need to infuse in my life versus just go, 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 And so I think what you did about converting this experience that could really lay people down, there's a choice there.
Yes.
There's a choice to rise or there's a choice to just accept and just, like fall flat. Yeah, totally. Now, your brand at Sephora has the badge of planet awareness and clean, which is
clean
freaking
and positive.
Yeah, which is hard to get. Yes. So how did you have that? Like, I mean, that takes a lot of drive. That takes a lot of just keep on going with it, jumping through all the processes that they have you do. How did you manage to continue through that journey to get that? Because that is an amazing accomplishment.
So first and foremost, the lens in which I created these fragrances, I felt very strongly that I wanted to be clean and sustainable. I believe that as a brand founder, yes, I have to create amazing product. I want to create fine fragrances that look amazing on your vanity and you love putting in your purse and pulling out, and that every time you spray it, you get this amazing aromas of high quality ingredients that are going to last on your skin and on your clothes for a long time, because that's what you want, right? You want to experience the fragrance and have it linger with you. And the choice of ingredients was very important to me, and making sure that I was not including endocrine disruptors, particularly not just for my condition, but for everyone else. Clean, sustainable ingredients were a top priority, so I sourced them. I focused on that. I had a very strong, what we call no list, of not including lots of things that are typically in perfume, because I wanted to be more conscious of what we are putting in our body via our skin, which is our largest organ. And the average woman's ingesting 5 pounds of hormone disrupting and toxic chemicals via her skin, which is her largest organ. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that when I'm not only like thinking about for the people and what's right for them, but for the planet. This is a dual thing. Like, you really have to think about, we use wood, which is recyclable, and the inside of the wood has this PCR plastic, which is post-consumer resin. It's been recycled before, and we can recycle it again. And these are glass bottles, which are recyclable. And so I feel strongly that every choice that we made with this brand was intentional, and bringing that intentionality and creating 5 SENS, which is your mood bottled, every piece of the process from crafting each fragrance, the notes, the ingredients, the components, everything about the brand has intentionality.
That intentionality, whether we're looking at a decision making or we're looking at a product or a service that we're offering, really brings the energy with it to the clients. I always say, like, with every post I create, with every offer I create, I'm like blessing it with good vibes to go forward. And that is the same thing. It's like everybody can resonate with that, and feel that. And with your human design really exemplifies this resilience and transformation and connection to purpose. When I opened up your human design chart, I audibly gasped. I was like, oh my goodness. Divya,
Courtney, this is one thing I'm pointing to make. So yes, I was making fragrance, but as a brand founder, the onus on me is to do more, not just create the fragrance. With this fragrance, we support Bring Change to Mind, which is a very personal thing for me. My cousin committed suicide, right? And we used to call her the life of the party, which I named this fragrance after her. But in general, she committed suicide at a young age. And I believe that these conversations around suicide need to happen early, and mental health need to happen early. And so we sponsor a high school program for Bring Change to Mind, where we donate to them to start having these self-led, self-guided conversations in schools around mental health. So we're for the people, and we're also for the planet. I moved from New York City to Miami. My happy place, as I always say, is Miami, but my happy place is really the ocean. It's swimming in the ocean and being alone with my thoughts. No 3 kids asking me a million questions at the same time. And, you have 4, so you can appreciate this, but the ocean is my meditative place where I just enjoy my time. I love the sun, the sand, and the beach, and I've seen what's happened to our ocean. So we also support Oceanic Society. And help preserving our world's oceans and getting plastic out of them. And so, when you create a brand, it's not just about creating a product, it's about having purpose. It's being for the people and for the planet at the same time. That stewardship goes hand in hand with being a brand founder, I believe.
I 100% agree. I believe that we're purpose driven for a reason, and that we can really bring to light the beauty that's in our souls, as far as that gift of, I see how this place can be better, and I'm going to make an imprint of better in my life, so that the legacy is really there, not just that this is how I made money, or this is what I did, to call it in, or whatever it is. We are made for so much more. And when I opened your human design chart, I was like, Divya, oh my goodness. I audibly gasped, because you are a reflector. Now, a reflector is 1% of the entire population.
Wow.
And so, This is just amazing. And what the power of a reflector is I connect in powerful, unmatched ways. So
Wow.
you have this gift of connecting with people, going into a room, and you don't really even need to hear the conversation. You can just feel the vibe. And you're like, wait a second, you can sense the unspoken story that's there. And your greatest gift is connection and this openness of hearing everybody's moods and feelings and taking that in and then transforming that into whatever you're putting forward in the world. How has this ability to kind of read this room influenced your leadership in your business?
I think it's so interesting. I think that outstanding leaders care about their people. And I think that's a big missing ingredient with people who don't reach that kind of level in their career. They become an outstanding leader. Like something that holds them back is that this competitive nature or comparing themselves or others to other people constantly, like, and also just trying to grind to get to the next outcome. A lot of CEOs are very results driven. They're like, I want to get to this milestone. I want to get to this key performance indicator, KPI. And they're like very metrics driven. I believe that outstanding brands are built by outstanding people. And so if you invest in the right people at different stages in your career, and it morphs, right? As the person who gets you here, maybe one person, the person who gets you here is another person, like, and people come into your life at different points and times for various reasons. And it's always like, it's meant to be in some ways. But I feel very strongly that caring, I genuinely care. And I think that's something that very few people can say. I actually do care. It's not a lip service. How are you doing? What happened? Flowers for the funeral or, a happy birthday message. It's not a superficial to-do list item check off. It's a genuine care that resides here in my heart. And so I do believe that it's something that's a part of my DNA that I do care. I take a lot of things very personally, and that's, the other side of it, that maybe I shouldn't. But I do run my teams as a professional sports team and not as a family. And that's something I learned early on. A lot of people, I used to in the early days when I ran my businesses, like it was so personal. It was so like we're a family. I actually realized that we're a professional sports team. We all have goals. We all want to win. We want to win together. You're as strong as your weakest link. We all have to work together, and teamwork really is the dream work. And that ability to be the captain of the team and to lead the team and to have the best players and to have the right quarterback who's going to like call the shots, like to have all of that together while you're the captain is the best formula, I believe, for both short-term and long-term success and professional development and growth for everyone.
Yeah, and that's what you're really good at, naturally born with, is the ability to see like this person in this team, role needs to either like have some more support or needs to have this vision drawn toward them even more. Just like a coach is like, hey, you know what, we need to do some more in this zone to get you to be successful, or recognizing where people really accelerate in the pockets of their own success.
Yep.
And you're born to do that. And in what ways, one of the other things with a reflector that you touched on is reflectors they're very much like an open like story, right? You can like really see them and they can see you. Now you're taking on a lot of people's energies. You're taking on a lot of people's feelings. You're taking on a lot of people's fears. How do you manage all of that?
It's a lot. Like I really is a lot. I have 3 children. I have a partner, I have, a spouse. I have my mom. I have teams of people that I work with across different brands every day. I have my team at Wander Beauty, which I work with every day and really focus on that business. I have my passion project, 5 Cents. I work a little bit with that team as well. And then I have my Concept to Co team where we're investing. And so I feel very strongly that I just like, I listen. I take it all in. I think that if you don't, you're not going to take action. First step is listening. My mom taught me a very important lesson. And she said, you were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, and you should listen and talk in that proportion. That was such a valuable lesson that she taught me at a very young age. I think it's so important that a lot of building businesses and growing companies is actually listening, because when you listen, you identify the challenges, the problems, the obstacles, and then you can reflect and put a path forward. And sometimes when you have these really big problems, you get like kind of stuck and you're like, oh God, how do I even tackle this? Then you just break that big problem down to smaller and smaller problems and just block and tackle the pieces of it until you can actually get the behemoth in good shape.
Yes. Yeah. And and really allowing yourself to understand people's feelings at that deep level of connection can help you accelerate the decision making and can help you accelerate where you really need to focus in on instead of being way down, understanding these are not my feelings or my fears or my thing, it is someone else's. And that takes a little bit of self-reflection too, right? To kind of dissect, like, instead of just accepting it all and holding on to it all, it's like, okay, these are my children's, this is my company, this is this person's, whatever role it is, and allowing ourselves to not carry those
Mhm.
emotions and burden as a burden, just as an influence for that moment to help us to know what to do. Now, also another part in your chart is your profile. Now, your profile is made up of two numbers, and it's characteristics of, again, gifts that you were born with. What I love about human design is because it's based on our time and our date and our place of birth, that's a fact. Our brain, instead of thinking, well, I answered these questions like in other assessments, and maybe I'm not really cool or gifted in this way, the brain tries to outthink that. Whereas with this fact of this is a time and a place of birth, so it must be true, So I can really lean into these characteristics and these gifts in new levels. And I can recognize for myself and celebrate that, wow, I am doing really good, Becoming our own cheerleader is one of the best things that we can do. And so as a 4-6, you are this regal authority figure. You're a natural talent for building relationships. You're a people person through and through. And you
Mhm.
also have this depth of wisdom that you've gained through experiences, but also that you just bring to life. You're like, people are like, she just probably knows what we should do, So we need to go ask her, and that is a gift that you have that people look towards you with. And so, have you had these personal connections throughout your professional journey that have really transformed your life?
Yes, so many. I think the people who gave generously of their time and taught
Yes.
me and mentored me and showed me the ropes, and they I learned through shared experiences, people making mistakes and sharing it with me, and then so I wouldn't make those mistakes and I could do it better, faster, and cheaper, and then I passed that along to um my colleagues. I think that cycle and that chain of sharing knowledge and sharing shared experiences, like so many people are chasing mentors who are like done so much, have big flashy titles and careers and made a lot of money. And I don't actually believe in that. I think that a lot of people in my career who I've met who've actually had very prolific careers have been the least likely to share their
Mm.
success and what actionable, tactical, strategic, and operational things they have done that have yielded that success. I feel strongly that peer mentorship is very underrated and that you should actually talk to people who are in your industry, in your space, in your stage and size. And those shared experiences are going to sometimes be your best learnings.
Yes, those openness. And I think the community that we connected through Entreprenista feels like that, It feels like we're all
Yes.
on the like linking arms together and we're all cheering each other on. And that's the beauty of what female founders
100%. And
bring.
that's what I
Yes.
love entrepreneurs. Like I am, I'm a judge for the Entrepreneurs 100 Awards, and I've been involved with that community for quite some time. And I really love the connections made there. I just feel like
Yes.
there's a genuine sense of community and compassion and support, which is the biggest word that I would use, that we're all supporting each other in that community, which I love.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. Another element on your human design chart is when you look at that body graph, you're going to notice all these lines going around. They're kind of like road
Yes.
maps, and they look kind of crazy, but there are, when they're colored in, they're called gates. And gates are another layer of your gifts and your personality. And so when we look at gifts and personality traits, we often think about like, oh, is someone outgoing or someone like can play music, you know? And this is with human design. It gives us another perspective, another light on the beautiful gifts that we were born with that are especially unique, that we can really utilize in our business or in our lives to find flow and ease and peace. So your gate
Yeah.
number 44 is I use patterns to create my future. You can spot what is
Yes.
coming. Yes. And you spot what's coming and you turn it into strategy. It allows you to see patterns and trends and anticipate future developments. And has this intuitive sense helped you stay ahead of especially the beauty and wellness market as it's ever
It's
changing?
so fascinating, Courtney. As an
Yes.
investor, and I have
Yeah.
invested in, at this point as an institutional investor and then through my own money,
Yeah.
hundreds of companies, right? So with my own money alone, I've invested in over 80 companies at this point. And during all those investments, what I've realized is like investing is pattern recognition. You see the same things over and over again. You see founders who raise too much money too quickly, it burns a hole in their pocket, end up spending it. You see founders who like raise at high valuations because they're narcissistic and they want to be able to tell everyone that I raised at this valuation, and then they can't catch the revenue up to the valuation. You see the same things over and over again, the same pitfalls, the same mistakes. The founders who take feedback and do amazing in their career, the founders that resist feedback and don't listen to others and don't do well. Like it's just like the same things over and over again. So a lot of investing, I would say, in my career has been pattern recognition. It's seeing those same early signs and knowing where to write a check and where to place a bet.
Oh my goodness. Well, no wonder you're so good at it. 'Cause that's like one of your talents and your gifts. And
Yeah.
again, when I looked at your human design chart, I always would do this with each guest. I'm like, I pull out what is speaking to me, and I don't have any of
Yeah.
these gates memorized because there's like 64 of them, and or more. But anyway, it's just so unique and interesting that it goes so aligned with your story. And then when we're like in this moment, when you're in moments of investing and stuff and you're thinking, okay, what should I do here? You can remember like, oh my goodness, wait a second. I can see patterns. I know this. I know this. And trusting yourself. And that's what human design is building this self-awareness and this trust, which brings the greatest return on investment. Another gate on your body graph that stood out to me is gate 64. And this mantra is, I create wholeness. You have this gift of completing things, seeing things through to the end, tying up
And
loose
yes,
ends. No stone
you know what's
unturned, you
so
know?
funny?
Yeah.
What's so funny is that I just signed the agreement for a company that I'm on the board of to get sold. And there were so many challenges along the way. And there were
Yes.
so many times where other board directors talked to me and they're like, should we quit? Should we leave? Should we get out? Should we just like, is this going to work out? Is it not going to work? I saw it through to the end. I stayed. I remained loyal to the
Divya.
CEO. I said, times are tough. Times got better. Everything ended up working out beautifully, but there were a lot of obstacles along the way. And I had the tenacity and the perseverance to continue to forge forward, even during difficult times, and see it through the end. That's exactly me in a nutshell.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Well, and part of our gifts can also be our greatest challenges as well. And so when
Mhm.
we're looking at this gift, the flip side of this is like moving on to the next thing so fast. And as high achieving women,
Yes.
we tend to do that. We're like, and
Yep.
we're done, move on. What's next? Or that what next is already coming into our mind before we even move on, you know? Um,
Yep.
I want to know, like, how have you infused celebration into your routine? What do you do to really celebrate that and celebrate even small or little achievements?
So I think that's super important. I really believe that you have to celebrate the wins and analyze the losses, and move forward from them and, kind of revel in the moment. So I believe in doing that. I do that every day at home with my children. So when they do well on a test or they, achieving a milestone or accomplishment with one of their activities or their interests, like we celebrate. We have a moment. Like, my husband got into this amazing medical program, is doing another degree at Emory, and like, we got him a cake. We went out to celebrate with dessert. Like just small things need to be celebrated. These moments are so important. Team birthdays need to be celebrated. Everyone needs to feel special and valued by their coworkers. So I think all of that is important.
Yeah, I think you bring up such a good point. It doesn't have to be so big. It can be easy, and it can be not like super time consuming, but it can be so valuable to bringing unity and love
Yes.
into either a life or into our careers.
Mhm.
And I absolutely love that. One of the things MS has taught me to do is to celebrate. I used to be able to I used to not be able to walk downstairs. And so when I was like,
Wow.
okay, my goal is to walk downstairs, and then once I can get that down, I'm going to walk to the mailbox. And then once I can get that
Wow.
down, I'm going to
Breaking
walk
into
around.
smaller pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, breaking it down. And I still to this day, like, I took my walk this morning, and I'm like, look at me taking a walk, and I feel my energy is low today, and I was like, okay, we're going to do this. So
You
it's
just
like,
go for it.
yeah, just go for it. So what would you say to women listening who once hid or feel this struggle to not trust themselves, to not trust this inner knowing? What would you help them to know about
I think
trusting
it's so
themselves?
important. I
Yeah.
think your gut intuition is everything.
Yes.
What's so fascinating is when I was building Wander Beauty and we had launched in makeup first,
Yes.
I worked with a Korean chemist and we built the Baggage Claim Gold eye masks, which I call coffee for your face. They basically depuff, hydrate, brighten that delicate under eye area. Being a time starved mom and, career mom and traveling and working, like I look exhausted. And I also have genetics against me because I look like someone punched me in the face. So essentially, like this for me was like a no brainer. Like I love these
Mhm.
Baggage Claim Gold eye masks. I'm like, this is coffee for your face. We need to launch this.
Yes.
And a lot of people said, like, don't do it, don't do it. Like, doesn't make sense. You're in makeup, do makeup. Then you can like think about skincare. Like, and I was like, no, like this just intuitively felt so right to me. Fast forward, it's one of our like top selling products at retail. It's like our number one seller at most of our retailers that we work with and stores that we work with. And it's a top seller on our wanderbeauty.com business. And it's just leaning into that gut intuition. No one knows
Mm.
your business better than you. No one knows yourself and what you need more than you. Often you know the best interest of your children as well. And so lean into the fact that we are connected so deeply with our inner gut feelings. And we as women have a unique ability to tap into those and harness them and use that as your superpower. Lean into it, not out of it.
Lean into that superpower, not out of it. I love
Yeah.
that. Divya, this has been such a beautiful conversation. I've just loved having you on. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
You are most welcome. It was my pleasure to be here.
It's so great. Now I know our listeners want to get into your world and want to connect with you. What's the best way they can get into your
The
world?
best thing to do is to take a look at my social handles, which is at DGUGNANI, so D Gugnani, and that is on Instagram and that is on TikTok. On TikTok, I have a business only channel where I give tips, tricks, and advice for founders. It's a lot of entrepreneurship and investing content, startup fundraising, things like that. And then on Instagram, it's really just a sprinkling of my life. It's like household stuff, cooking, my daily glimpse of my work life, my children, it's all kind of there. It's my lifestyle content. And I'm also on YouTube as well. So that handle's going to get you everything. And the brands are at wander_beauty, WANDER_beauty, and at 5 Sens, the number 5, SENS, which is senses in French, CO. So at 5 Sens Co is our handle across TikTok and Instagram.
Oh, that's perfect. And we'll have those all in the show notes for everybody too as well. Thank you again for being
Yeah.
here. And listeners, thank you so much for being on here. I think the greatest message that we can do is really trust ourselves, trust what is coming from within, and know that our purpose is here for us for a reason. So just go for it. Say yes and keep going. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Wasn't that so amazing? Oh my goodness, I came away with pages of notes and intentions that I've been feeling. And what I want you to do now is one thing, okay? I want you to either sit with the feeling that you've had during this episode. I want you to look at your notes, and I want you to focus in on that one thing that you can do going forward. As human beings, we get so inspired by inspiring podcasts and speakers, and then we forget to zone in on one thing. And so I want you to focus in on that one thing that you can do moving forward. I'm going to give you just a pause because you know I like a pause, and a pause is easier to do with people. So I want you to pause and think of that one thing. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to write that one thing down, because as human beings, we always forget. I always forget too. And so I want you to write that thing down, either put it in the notes on your phone, put it on a sticky that you'll see different places. I want you to have that so you can go back to and reflect over and over again, because these episodes aren't just for you to inspire you in the moment. They're to inspire your actions going forward in the next moments, and I'm here to back you up, and I'm so grateful you're here. One thing I would love for you to do, as we get these messages out more and more, the thing that can help this podcast, and it can help me out so much, is for you to go like and subscribe and share these episodes. It's so easy. It just takes a second, but it helps other people to find these episodes. It helps the podcast to get out there, and I so appreciate it. So if you